La luz.
Si se necesita esto, las apagamos, si no, para empezar con esta mesa redonda. Entonces, empezamos. Y déjenme explicar primero que nada de que eligieron, bueno, yo me elegí, al peor organizador de mesas redondas que no planeó nada de nada. Y por lo tanto vamos a tener que improvisar a lo largo del camino, a pesar de que los participantes sabían que venían, pero no sabían a qué. Entonces la primera consulta es, los estudiantes, ¿está bien si nos echamos la mesa redonda en inglés? ¿Los desconectaría o haría un esfuerzo? Quiero su opinión.
Honesta. ¿Inglés está bien?
Súper. A ver, levanten la mano los que estarían de acuerdo en que fuese en inglés. Ok, la mayoría. La minoría. ¿Se irían sin, porque no entendería nada o dirían, bueno, voy a ver qué cascareo? Ok. Then we shall proceed in English. Okay, then let me again say that unfortunately the moderator of this roundtable, which is myself, is not organized at all. And so it happens, however, that the participants in the roundtable are all here, and they are great people, but there are too many, so I will ask them to come in two groups. And a little bit for the title of the roundtable. The roundtable is a retrospective map. Why these 40 years of German-Mexican collaboration? How that happened and what it meant, what is past. And then the second group is what young people think about it, okay? And what do they like to happen if these 40 years could have an extension of another some years. So that's the proposal for the roundtable. Yes?
In which group I will be?
You?
Yeah.
Okay, you are a boy, right? But nevertheless, you are a very experienced guy. So you will be in the first group. So I will call. Please come to the podium, to this table, which is my round.
Yes.
Young Don, could you please come in? And let me see, because my memory is not very good. The other question is, I'm only supposed to use the microphone. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. When you cannot hear the speaker, you tell me and ask for him to use the microphone. Okay, and I was going to check because my memory is not very good.
That's why you are in this part of the table. That's what I'm hearing.
He's the old one.
Yeah. Okay. Olegario is here. Arauz is here. Don is here. I'm here. Okay, then we can start. And the idea is now I will ask each of these gentlemen to tell us a little bit what, very briefly, just as an abstract, no full paper, just an abstract, in 10 minutes at most. Tell us something about what do you think, or how this all started, and what you value most along these 40 years, or whatever comes to your mind. But not only that, although the following group will talk about future, also please say what you would do if you were the age of these guys now. So let me probably start with Gerhard.
Should I use the microphone?
Can you speak? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Or anyway, I'll try to.
You feel it. Okay, can you hear me better? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now better? Okay, yeah. So everything started in my case about 1988 or so, a long time ago. I was finishing my master's thesis in a group of Professor Klein at the University of Constance in Germany. And at that time, it happened that Magdalena was visiting us for a couple of months. And I was working on my master thesis, and I was not clear at all to me whether what I did make any sense. I worked on it and got results, but I must say my boss was busy with other stuff, so I felt a little bit lonely in my scientific support. And Magdalena really came to my rescue because he told me, "Oh, I'm working on a similar problem as you do," and then maybe it was just nice. He said, "And you made more progress than me." Probably he was just nice. And that's how it all started. I mean, my very first paper was a collaboration with Magdalena, and then my boss at that time, Professor Klein and Magdalena, they discovered a way to foster this exchange by a joint project financed by the German Ministry of Research and Education and by Bonasud. Right? And that happened the following way. Just take me as an example. I was traveling to Mexico on the bill of the German part, whereas my stay was financed by the Mexican part. And that actually turned out to be quite nice, and for me it was one of the greatest experiences in my life, because it was the first time I was leaving Europe, or actually Germany, and came to Mexico. It was a real, great experience, and I was taken by the friendliness of my Mexican colleagues and the formality, and I liked it a lot. I could continue to tell you more about that, but my recommendation would be, if you have the chance to go for, even if it is just for a couple of months, to a research facility in Europe or in the United States, and you have the chance to do that, don't hesitate at all. Immediately go there, and I'm very sure you will. It will be very profitable to you, not only in terms of science, but also in terms of your own development. I mean, you improve your language skills. You find new friends, as I did, new interesting colleagues, and you refresh your mind and your spirit. Okay, that's all I wanted to say for now.
Okay.
El micrófono ahí lo tiene.
There is
Ahí
another
está.
microphone there, Magdalena.
And
In front of you.
Se lo prendo.
how do you? I thought that somebody very special would be in the second group, but I think that she belongs to both. And I would like to call on Marina. How come you're sitting over there? Come on! No, could you please join us? Because you have to say something in both groups. So please, please come and join us.
Perhaps it could be instructive to explain to the audience that knows Norina how Norina and Gerhard were to met back to those years and so on. Or
Let them explain.
but you were essentially the reason, right? Back to that moment.
No, you see.
Okay.
But it's mostly because it's good to remember, but it's also good to see what we are doing now, what people are doing, and could be doing. So anyway, just wanted to make sure that the founders are all of them sitting here. Probably it's a good opportunity to ask Honorina to, Gerhard said about these initial times, because really that was a little bit the origin, the Gerhard's PhD thesis, and Honorina's PhD thesis as well. That was part of the origin. And you're welcome to tell you whatever is your recollection of how this relationship between Germany and Mexico started. En inglés, en español, como quieras.
Bueno, usaré algunos términos en alemán para los compañeros que están acá, ya en Gerhard, ¿verdad? Bueno, cuando inició, creo yo, el proyecto de colaboración promovido por Magdaleno con la Universidad de Constanza en Alemania, eso fue a través de un proyecto que él tenía. Y en ese tiempo estábamos como estudiantes voy a nombrar a José Luis Arauz, que ya está a punto de graduarse, a Alejandro Vizcarra Rendón, que era estudiante de doctorado. Él no está más con nosotros, y yo hasta el doctorado. Entonces, en algún momento Magdaleno dijo, pues voy a hacer una estancia en Alemania y van a ir ustedes. Y así fue. ¿Sí? Für mich, in Deutschland zu sein, war eine große opportunity, auf Deutsch, Möglichkeit, eine große Möglichkeit, anderes Land, andere Kultur, andere Sprache lernen. Nur wenn, das ist meine Meinung, es mi opinión. O sea, tuve la oportunidad de conocer otra cultura, otra forma de trabajar, otro idioma, convivir con la gente de esa época, y para mí fue una gran oportunidad y que cambió mi forma de ver las cosas. Diese Möglichkeit, in Konstanz zu sein, beim Lehrstuhl Professor Rudolf Klein. Ja? Und in Deutschland, Konstanz, Süddeutschland, waren auch Gerhard, schon war Doktor, glaube ich, ja, schon fertig, ja, und auch Jan Don als Postdoc, glaube ich auch, und die waren sehr freundlich und nett. Cuando llegué finalmente a Alemania, me subí por primera vez en avión. Imagínense.
Un Islander.
Islander, genau. Ich pude ver las montañas de nieve. Todo era nieve. En Islandia. Después de un largo viaje, finalmente en Constanza. Todo diferente. ¿Sí? Constanza, André, Alex, verschiedene als ich in Mexiko kennengelernt habe. Und die Sprache auch, el idioma, mucho ruido. Es war sehr schwer.
Es ist.
Fue muy difícil. Sí. Solo sabía los números del 1 al 20, conjugar varios verbos en presente y saludar. Me equivocaba, porque a veces era buenos días y decía buenas tardes. ¿Sí? Pero de cualquier manera, guardo grandes recuerdos de esa estancia, ¿verdad? Y naturalmente, pues doy las gracias a Magdaleno que me dio la bienvenida a esa familia, a esa familia académica. ¿Sí? Entonces, ich bin ich danke Magdaleno, dass ich die Möglichkeit hatte, nach Deutschland zu gehen und auch teilnehmen von dieser Familie. Die sehr große ist, wie así, hier estamos aquí los más viejos, pero la familia es mucho más grande que eso. Está la gente joven, muy joven, que seguramente va a continuar esta gran familia. Entonces, hace poco estuvieron aquí unos colegas y yo les decía a varios colegas de San Luis Potosí, weil hier, ich weiß nicht wie viele, aber 3, glaube ich, 3 junge Professoren. Ja? Und ich sagte die, wir sind eine Familie. Entonces yo les dije a los compañeros que estuvieron acá con nosotros el semestre pasado, somos una familia. Y justamente así es como vamos a conectarnos, ayudándonos entre nosotros. Wie in eine mexikanische Familie. Wir versuchen, alle Personen dieser Familie gut kenntlich zu sein. Ja. Gut, und dann, das ist mein Ausdruck, das ich habe. Und les comparto, es la impresión que yo tengo y se las comparto con mucho gusto. Auch für unsere liebe Kollegen aus Deutschland und Niederland, Professor Gerhard Megele und Professor Jan Dom. Gut, gracias a ustedes. Muchas gracias, eso fue todo. Disculpen ustedes que hayan tenido que hacer esto.
Okay, pues. De hecho que ya adelantaron el aplauso. You have advanced the applause. But I must say that we originally meant this meeting to be a recognition precisely, specifically for Professor Marina Ruiz Estrada. This, what she calls this family, has the greatest appreciation for her contribution to the founding of this family. Okay, I think that it is good that we say that. She was very modest and sort of said, no, recognition, no, but I'm sorry, Marina. We must say that we have a great appreciation for you and for your trajectory and for your influence in the community. And so even though we changed that to a roundtable, the spirit is exactly that. Okay, let me, by the way, she was saying that she knew the snow in Iceland, in Reykjavik, and she stayed in the airplane, in the plane for several hours or so. And the reason is that at that moment there was a meeting between Gorbachev and Reagan in one of the summits that changed the international relations. So she was almost a witness of such a meeting. Okay, let me do the following. Honorina joined this experience of Germany probably 2 years after what Gerhard started his PhD. And the other guy who also was in the middle of his PhD and was a founding, how to say, element of this family is Jose Luis Lara. So to come from the past to let me ask this boy, this little boy, this young boy, this young boy, to tell us his recollection of these origins. And whatever you want to say and share with the students and with the rest of it.
Okay, in this mixture of languages, German, Spanish, English, ich kann sprechen kein Deutsch. I know few words, but useful. Ein Bier bitte, noch eins, which means una cerveza por favor y otra. Which is you need to learn this.
That's what you need.
Yes.
The regular bitte.
That's what you need.
All you need. Okay. Well, Gerhard, Norina said about the Europeans. Gerhard and I are almost the same age. I was a PhD student when we came to Constance together with Magdalena. Probably Magdalena should be saying this story because he was the starter together with Klein. And this first visit we did to Constance, we met Gerhard. It was in '83, if I can remember correctly. There was already this project was on a seed with Germany, so we came to that. And it started this collaboration with last until now, as in the future. In these two places, which was Constance in Germany and Silvestar, Mexico City, start to enlarge and govern other parts of Germany with the people originally that met in Constance and Mexicans who started in Silvestar. So now the connection between Germany and Mexico is not just these 2 points in Germany and Mexico, but there are many other points in Germany with many points in Mexico. And hopefully it will continue. It's good. Gerhard and Norina already explained why it's important to do this collaboration. It's not just important from the scientific side, which is very good, but also from the cultural point of view, because you enlarge your point of view about life and many other things. And you also realize something that you might wonder if you never go out of Mexico. How good is the science you do? And when you travel, you find out that you are doing fine. You are doing very good here in Mexico. So that you go and learn something else, but you are prepared and you can also teach the other people something about science. This is really something that you have to do at some point in your life. So I don't know what else to say because I think Marina Gerhard did some very good job to explain how this all started. We must have some other. But let me focus a little bit on Marina. Marina was the student of Magdaleno, which is a student at Simvestar. Well, now let me go a little bit earlier. When it was 1985 or 86, 85, I went to Constance and I met there Jan. He was a postdoc at a group of Klein. And I was looking for a postdoctoral position myself because I finished the PhD. I graduated. I finally didn't come to Constance, although Professor Klein offered me a position as a postdoc there. But I went to Syracuse University in the United States. Instead of doing theory with Klein, I went to do experiments with Professor Benwer in a group of biophysics. So I moved from solving integral differential equations to purify proteins and do cell assembly of biopolymers, something like this. But also looking for dynamic properties of these assembled filaments. So then in 85, I went there, I met again Gerhard, I met Jan. I moved then to the States and went back to Simvestar. And then I met Honorina. Probably I knew her before, but I can't remember. But then Magdaleno moved to San Luis. Honorina was a student in Simvestar. So he charged me Honorina to the last year of her PhD. So I didn't do much, just if she did anything to console, it was with me. But I figure as a co-director of her thesis. So I am his advisor, former advisor on Marina. And I remember something, you heard Marina speaking German. There was very funny thing because we developed some theoretical calculations of dynamics using some theory. And the programs we need to input in these dynamic calculations static properties. So Honorina developed these programs for the static properties, static structure factor, GOR, but they were with the comments in German. And some others were in English, and I added myself some part in Spanish. So I forgot to bring the programs, but you could read to the Fortran programs some words in Spanish or English, many in German. And so this is part of the life in this multicultural environment that was created by Magdaleno, Professor Klein, back 4 years ago. Do you have any questions? I don't want to repeat what they already said.
I have one question. Do you still have that program?
Yes, I look for them, and I have in my in front in the computer, but I just forgot to bring the program because I was planning to show this program, important programs in this the view here, but just forgot.
But speaking in academic purposes, it would really serve me to have that program. If you could pass it to me later, please.
And please don't ruin the comments.
You have to learn German.
I do have
She speaks a little bit.
Yeah, but in which programming language is
it's
that?
it's
Is that already important?
great. That's
Because let me tell you, Jose Luis's thesis was, by the way, it was distinguished as the very best thesis in this country by the Academy of Mexican Academy of Science, and that has calculations of GeoVar and dynamic properties and so on, and it was performed in a 40K Tektronix machine. You cannot believe that. And it was programmed in BASIC. These were other times. I mean, in your cell phone you have 1,000 times more computer power. But I mean, those were the days.
Those were the days. Just to finish, I want to say that coming from the hotel to here is a trip that should take no more than 20 minutes. We spend more than an hour
why.
because we were some kind of Brownian particle utility. So we wanted to come here, so we have a direction, but it was just a mixture of, because I should mention also that Magdaleno and myself met here for the first time here in Puebla at this university in 1975. I was starting the Bachelor of Physics program, and he was a young professor in the faculty. So I took a course on algebra or something with him. We met, so we were talking about those days and saying, okay, we now know where to go. But the city is completely different. And we were trying to navigate using our memory of the city more than 40 years ago. So we were a Brownian with some direction. We turned around the campus.
The mean free path was half a kilometer.
Jose Luis, careful. Jan expressed himself about those particles as brainless. Huh? So, careful with that comparison. So, okay, better as birds than as swamp.
Okay, thank you very much, Jose Luis. Okay, now, I said that they were talking about 1983 when we first started to collaborate. These two boys, Jose Luis Arauz and Gerhard Negele, and then in 1986. Jan Don was a postdoc in Constance, and then I came as a for a sabbatical, and that's the period that Honorina. Yeah.
Oh, we hear you.
Yeah. Okay. And that was the period that Honorina was talking about, and when she was about to be the witness of the Reagan-Gorbachev meeting in Helsinki. Helsinki? No. Reykjavik. Yeah. So that year was a wonderful year, much of that because Jan Don was the postdoc, and it was a great pleasure sharing with him. So let me ask Jan to also tell his recollections, and of course after that Olegario was the fundamental part of this collaboration, mostly because of the closeness with Jan. So Jan, please.
So, as Magdalena said, I was a postdoc at the time, so 2 years and 3 months in Constance. I must say I don't have any publications with the family. But still I feel a member of the family. So we always keep kept in contact because there was sufficient overlap of my interest and the interest of the family. speak. So I'm more interested in the effect of external variables. The interest is more if I'm not fitting you in some equilibrium. So in the last division, of course, this is out of equilibrium. So despite the fact that we don't have any communications together, I feel a member of the family, which is really very nice. I also remember that Marina and I played basketball, believe it or not. So Marina was a very good basketball player, despite the limited height. So I admire the scientific achievements of Dorina, but also everything that she is doing besides science. Very much appreciate that. So let me give the young people one advice: don't put too much time in learning German. The Germans all speak English, of course with a funny accent. But the main thing you should learn is English. So the international language is English and not German. Except for the time before the Second World War, you had to publish in German. Actually, I'm glad that it is not the case anymore, because we were German. So let me end with this. I'm very glad being a member of the family, and I hope that you will cooperate discussions for a long time after this meeting also. Thank you.
Okay, I would like now to hear Olegario Larcón. He has been also part of this family since the 80s. Since I was in the same staff, but also his relationship with Jan has been going for a long time. Olegario?
In my case, I had really a strange element because Magdaleno was not my advisor. I met him because when my advisor, Professor Garcia Colin, proposed me for my program, he gave me the dissertation of Jose Luis Arras. This dissertation was called his PhD. And then when I started, I don't know anything about colors. It was really crazy because what I do, because when Garcia Colin is not, he does support you to need to work alone. And then, fortunately, in a winter meeting, I met Magdaleno. Magdaleno, I was alone in a coffee break, and Magdaleno close to me and asked me what are you doing in this place and so on. And then we started a collaboration with Magdalena. When I finished my PhD program, I moved to Puebla. In that time, I spent my time in two things. One in the administration of my university, and the other was not official because in that time I am already professor in my university. This is a different times, but in that time I get the permanent positions with only the bachelor degree. It's very different right now, no? And then when I was in the Universidad de las Américas Puebla, I still continue working with Magdalena, and I took this part of my academic program as my postdoctoral training, and this was not official because I don't need any position because I have a permanent position. Yeah? Well, when I finished my administration period in the university, I went to a sabbatical year in Germany with Professor Rudolf Beck. In that time, I met Gerhard, also Landon. And then, after come back to Mexico, I don't remember Honorina how initiated our collaboration. Honorina and me studied in the same institution, and then I met her many when was a bachelor students. Maybe you know, but Honorina was a really good basketball player. Is that right? And then I don't remember Honorina how we get in contact with people here in Puebla, but doesn't matter. We start this collaboration, and in this part of my academic life, I repart in two things. One, with these guys, these European guys, I attended many meetings with them, moved all the Europe. I remember very well this meeting of Congress was really nice for me. And the other part here in Puebla, I collaborate with the BUAP through the Honorina and Jose Luis Carrillo with both. We organize many seminars, conferences, talks. Also, Jan visited us many times. For instance, I remember that when Jan gave his first talk here in Puebla, in my university, in ULAB, Luis was attended that talk. He in that time he was a bachelor student. I remember Jan gave his first talk here in Puebla in my university, and then. This is the history of the collaboration in the group. By now, I am retired. Only I see. I say this phrase in Spanish. Veo todos desde la barrera. Okay, thank you.
Since the formal speeches are finished, I would like to say a short story about Gerhard. In those days, we were students and a little bit younger. So Gerhard came here to Mexico City. And we have this friend, also student of Magdaleno, his name was Alejandro. As Soraya said, he died a few years ago. But really good friend, a very funny guy. So he liked to make jokes, and he got along with Gerhard very well. So he was, so Gerhard introduced himself and said, my name is Gerhard Negri. And we, of course, are not used to hear these names. Say, yeah, okay. And then Alejandro just took the name and worked on this. And the following day, he came to Gerhard and said, I know how you remember your name. How could you explain to people your name? Your name sounds like Chingle. Chingle. How is Chingle? And then Gerhard took this to explain people. That was his name. Pronounced. So he tells this story to Gerhard. Say, he met some girls in a restaurant. He was explaining how to pronounce his name. And he said that the girls just went laughing non-stop. So this is a short story. Sorry, but this is funny. This is a short story. I don't remember.
Actually, a story.
more, actually, after 6 weeks working with in a group of Magdalena, I usually took 1 or 2 weeks off traveling. So I took a parcel of traveling through Mexico and visiting all or many of the archaeological sites. And I was also going to Merida. And in the evening I went to a bar and I met 2 nice Mexican girls. And we started talking and then that happened. And then they asked me, oh, what's your name? I said, oh, my name is Gerhard Megade como chingade. One of them became my girlfriend, so
Oh,
it's
wow.
not too bad.
Okay, I think that the discussion is open, particularly if you guys want to ask something. These people have the period that you're about to experience as graduate students and so on is what they had a few years ago, 40 years ago. So you may be curious, so don't be shy, ask questions.
En español, si no quieren hablar.
Yeah, of course.
I would like to ask to both parts, both the Mexican part and the German part, which is one of the main differences you notice between the way they teach, well, physics here in Mexico and in Germany.
Did everybody understood the question? Okay.
So I don't know how they teach in Mexico.
Okay, Honorina should be the one to respond because she knows how physics is taught in Germany and how it is taught in Mexico. Can you say a little bit about that?
Quizás lo que les comentaría yo es que, sobre todo a los estudiantes, los muchachos jóvenes que nos están acompañando aquí de la facultad, estoy conociendo algunos, en realidad el estar en un grupo de trabajo brinda una gran oportunidad de aprender de todos los que están ahí. En las clases yo he mencionado aspectos que yo he aprendido, pero los actores ustedes no los conocen, resulta que están aquí, entonces quizás menciono. Vamos a ver si me sale bien. Como mencionó José Luis, en algún momento yo estuve trabajando con él, ¿verdad? Y entonces que empieza a calcular, nombre, que empieza a sacar cantidades, a escalar ecuaciones, a juntar coeficientes de difusión, unidades de tiempo, y dije, caray, ¿a poco eso se puede? Sí. Fue una gran novedad para mí. Y ahora que estoy en los salones de clase con los chicos muy jóvenes, yo trabajo con los estudiantes desde que llegan hasta que se van. Cuando tengo la oportunidad, les comento esto y les muestro cómo en una situación extremadamente simple se hace. Cómo hacer una modelación matemática, cómo el escalamiento nos ayuda. ¿Sí? Entonces, bueno, ese fue de mis grados que de pronto vi que hacía esto y dije, uy, ¿sí? Se siente uno fuera del lugar, pero va aprendiendo uno poco a poco. ¿Sí? Entonces ahora tengo un grupo de probabilidad y estadística y les di un problema muy, muy sencillo para ver si lo hacían. Y no lo hicieron. No lograron darse cuenta, están más o menos como en sexto semestre, y no lograron darse cuenta de lo que tenían que hacer. Entonces, al final les expliqué. Entonces dije, bueno, pues hay que seguir trabajando, ¿no? Con la gente más joven desde el inicio, para que vayan adquiriendo las formas de trabajo que después van a utilizar. El lenguaje, el método, el cálculo, la interpretación física de los resultados. ¿Sí? Entonces, bueno, eso fue para mí una gran enseñanza. ¿Sí? En alguna otra ocasión les comento a los muchachos, mira, si no tienes cuidado, vas a terminar buscando una aguja en un pajar. Y eso va a ser muy difícil, vas a sufrir mucho. ¿Sí? Y pues eso me recuerda una situación, ya estando en Alemania, que la viví. Entonces, en algún momento, das war ich schon in Konstanz und arbeitete gerade mit Gerhard Negele. Entonces, der Professor war Professor Klein, aber ich arbeitete gerade mit Gerhard. Ja? Und von Gerhard habe ich gelernt, wie methodisch oder etwas so sind bueno, ich sage nicht die Deutsche, no digo los alemanes, es la forma de trabajar tan metódica, tan controlada, ¿sí? Entonces eso fue lo que yo aprendí ahí con Gerhard. Me llamó mucho la atención cómo hasta el cálculo en la computadora tenía una estructura muy específica. Entonces yo trabajé con Gerhard esa parte, am Computer, die Arbeit, die Analytik Arbeit auch. Und einmal, dices, ahora viene la mujer del pagar. Entonces, einmal habe ich beim Computer gearbeitet und habe ich alle Ergebnisse von einem Artikel rausbekommen und dann sagte ich, no, ya lo hice, porque ya conseguí los resultados del artículo, entonces, las gráficas, a eso me refiero, ¿no? Entonces ahora con el programa pues ya puedo buscar otras posibilidades. Bueno, el programa falló. ¿Sí? El programa falló. Cuando estaba ya todo listo, había un error. Un error que no lo alcancé a notar. ¿Sí? Es gab ein Fehler beim Programm und dann habe ich mit Gerhard unterhalten und er fragte mir, hast du das gemacht? Ja. ¿Hast du diese andere gemacht? Ja. Entonces me fue preguntando qué había yo hecho. ¿Hiciste esto? Sí. ¿Hiciste esta otra cosa? Sí. Bueno. ¿Sí? El error, aparentemente yo lo tenía, o sea, tenía todo controlado, no había error. ¿Sí? Entonces Gerhard dice, muy bien, la integral. Wir haben eine Integral gearbeitet mit Computer, um die Radialdistribution Function von einer geladenen Python rausbekommen. O sea, hicimos un programa, Gerhard y yo, para calcular las funciones de distribución radial de partículas cargadas. En ese tiempo era un problema, pues no estaba resuelto, ¿verdad? Era un problema, las partículas tenían el mismo tipo de carga, ¿sí? Pues había aproximaciones, pero no se podían usar por el tipo de potencial de interacción. Dann sagte die Integration, wo ist die Integration? A veces le mostré la integral, que me dijo dónde está la integral, y pues encontró el error. El error estaba en la integral, muy escondido, En Fortran, las variables I, J, K, L, M y N son enteras. Entonces yo dije, pues para recordar una integral INT, un das barras vela, ese fue el error. ¿Ya? INT alojaba un número digamos, que tiene una parte entera y una parte que no era entera. Entonces, en todos los cálculos que yo hice, la otra parte no jugaba mucho papel. Pero cuando cambié, hubo un papel relevante, ¿no? Entonces, pues encontrar esa aguja en el pajar fue realmente difícil. Eine lange Woche y wusste nicht, was ich machen konnte. Una larga semana y no sabía yo qué tenía que hacer. Porque ya había buscado todo y no encontraba nada. ¿Sí? Entonces, bueno, esta forma sistemática de trabajar de los investigadores, yo aquí platico una anécdota directamente que me ayudó Gerda. Gerda había geholfen, diesen Fehler finden bei einer Integration im Programm. ¿Ya? Dan dice, esta experiencia yo la comparto, bueno, ahora aquí está Gerda, que me ayudó, ¿verdad? Pero, pues para mí fue muy, muy difícil. Sí, entonces lo que yo les puedo comentar a los muchachos es que, pues a veces hay situaciones muy complejas, donde uno no encuentra por dónde salir, pero los que te rodean, que tienen una gran experiencia, te pueden ayudar. Y lo hacen con gusto. Sí. Realmente es un trabajo académico muy, muy bonito el que hacen, porque comparten lo que saben y te ayudan. Entonces, bueno, este es el tipo de familia que yo encontré, y por eso menciono yo que somos una familia. ¿Verdad? Bueno, quizás digo unas pocas palabras a Jan, ¿verdad? Porque alterno entre el español y el alemán. Gerda hat mir geholfen, in Momenten, die sehr schwer für mich waren. Und hat seine eigene Zeit mir bringen, damit ich die Arbeit machen konnte. Vielen Dank. Vielen Dank an Loreno, Gerda, Raus. ¿Sí? Jan hatte viel Arbeit, immer arbeitet. Jan tenía mucho trabajo, siempre lo veías tú sentado, trabaja y trabaja. Ja, aber in Konstanz, ja, aber ich sagte, Jan, ein Kätzchen, Galletas, ¿cómo se llama? Eine kleine Cookie. Una taza de café, eine Tasse que die trinken viel Kaffee und ellos toman mucho café y té. Und nie sagte nein, ich habe que gesagt. Nunca dijo no, no tengo tiempo. Bueno, ahora hablando de lo que menciona Olegario, él también brindó mucho de su trabajo, de su tiempo a estudiantes de aquí. venía corriendo a comer a su casa desde la UTLA. Y entonces, no sé si comía antes o comía después de llegar a la facultad. Y nos reuníamos en un salón de clases y ahí llegaban estudiantes que estaban trabajando en temas tanto de José Luis Carrillo como nuestros, ¿no? Con el doctor Magdaleno. No era un curso que se le pagara, no lo podía reportar siquiera como trabajo que sea, pero yo lo veía que lo hacía muy gustoso, ¿no? Así fue como comenzó, trabajo muy intenso, ¿verdad? Él participaba muy frecuentemente con nosotros, ya dijo acerca de los seminarios, de las conferencias que teníamos, ¿sí? Pero esta parte no la mencionó, trabajaba acá con nosotros, con los estudiantes.
Pues no porque me corrí.
Bueno, no, pero ahorita, sí. Entonces, pues, en realidad, la enseñanza que yo recibí de estar trabajando con ellos, pues es justamente lo que ahora predico y trato de hacer, ¿no? O sea, cuando digo somos una familia, en realidad lo somos. Pues es bueno, esa es mi experiencia y lo digo para los jóvenes, ¿verdad? Que pues están iniciando su experiencia, digamos, de investigadores, ya se están ocupando de diferentes problemáticas, las tratan de resolver, tienen ideas. Entonces, bueno, este es un área en la que trabajamos y aquí hay gente, digamos ya, un poquito nada más, y hay gente también muy joven, profesores muy jóvenes que están trabajando, que tienen mucho futuro, estudiantes que se están graduando. Entonces, a los que les interese algún tema relacionado con lo que hacemos, pues serán bienvenidos, ¿no? Ahí está. Bueno, muy bien. Entonces, de mi parte, pues creo que es todo. ¿Verdad? Yo hago mucho énfasis en los estudiantes porque tengo mucho contacto con ellos. Constantemente estoy frente al grupo y los veo. Y sé qué problemas pueden enfrentar hacia adelante, qué les falta, ¿sí? Y los veo y me veo en ellos, aparte, ¿sí? Entonces, pues ese es mi trabajo aquí y pues también trabajo con esto. Gut, das war alles. Ich glaube, ich habe schon alles gesagt. Das ist eine große Möglichkeit für mich. Das war so. Ich erinnere mich immer an Deutschland, was ich da wir haben und auch die Leute in Mexiko. Wir arbeiten da, wie viele Möglichkeiten wir haben, die Mexikaner. Entonces aprendí cómo se trabaja aquí, cómo se trabaja allá, la diferencia cultural entre los países, las exigencias y las posibilidades que tenemos. ¿Sí? Entonces, bueno, pues yo los invito a que trabajen con muchas ganas en todo lo que están haciendo. Aquellos que estén decidiendo qué hacer, pues esta es una zona de trabajo también, ya muy encaminada probablemente a un nuevo tiempo que venimos. Estamos, creo yo, en un punto crítico. Entonces, pues, algo bueno yo espero que suceda para todos nosotros. Bueno, muy bien. La conferencia.
Was my pleasure.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
Just because you were asking about differences, similarities between Mexican and German university system. Of course, I don't know the Mexican one, but I can very shortly explain you the German ones. We have changed a couple of years ago to a new system where we get a bachelor, master degrees. It's the same throughout whole Europe. So when you attend a course, say in statistics, physics, at the end you get a number of credit points, either based on solving homework problems or passing and written or oral exam. When you have enough of these credit points collected, then you can go to final exams. Courses are such that usually, except for undergrad courses, all the other courses are presented in English. So it's not a problem unless one wants to make an undergrad study, then of course it might be necessary to know some German. But beyond that, English is absolutely sufficient. And the courses, I mean, I guess it's not much different from the courses we have in Mexico, right? Maybe 30 years ago, it might have been more formal in Germany because professors were considered to be a respectful person. You would not address them on a first name basis, for instance. Still, this is not so popular, but it has changed a lot. It has become more and more like in any other Anglo-American system or French system, or maybe French aspect. So, I would say there's nothing special about the German university system. It's kind of harmonized with the other European countries, although there are of course some special differences still remaining. But on the average, it doesn't matter whether you study, except for if you want to study something specific. It doesn't matter whether you study physics in Switzerland or Germany or Netherlands. It's very simple.
Bueno, quiero también comentarte algo. Mira, las leyes de Newton son las mismas en todos lados. Eso no va a cambiar. Nadie las puede cambiar. Yo creo que la diferencia está en el programa de doctorado. Pero ahí va a depender de qué área quieres seguir. Yo lo que siempre les dije a mis estudiantes es, no importa la universidad que te vayas, el chiste es el profesor con quien quieres trabajar, que es el experto en el tema que a ti te interesa. Y eso es lo que hace el cambio, que es lo que dijo al final Guerra, ¿no? Cuando ya es algo muy específico. ¿Sí? Pero en lo demás, pues las leyes son las mismas, no van a cambiar porque te las den en alemán, en holandés o en otro idioma, son exactamente las mismas. Esa es la gran diferencia que hace de las ciencias básicas, ¿no? Que de básicas, o ciencias exactas, mejor dicho, que de exactas no tiene nada, porque todo lo que alcanza de forma aproximada. Pero tenemos un gran juez, que es la naturaleza, y eso determina qué. Y la naturaleza es la misma aquí que en China, que en Japón, que en Alemania, que en Holanda. La única diferencia es cuando ya haces tu programa de doctorado, porque entonces así ya es a lo que te vas a dedicar. Entonces ahí lo que busquen es dónde está el mejor en el mundo, y no importa si está en una universidad muy pequeña, eso no es muy importante, lo importante es que vas a ir con el que vas a trabajar, con la persona que te va a formar.
Just briefly, if you want to do science, you will do science as everybody. Here, everywhere. Of course, the culture has some impact in the way you do a little bit. It's like singing a song. If we want to sing the same song everywhere, you will sing the song with your Mexican accent, the German with the German accent, and so on and so on. But essentially, you will sing the same song. So doing science here and there, you will sing. And as I mentioned in each few minutes ago, it's really interesting to find that you are doing science the way that you find that you are
And just in the, of course, there are differences in the way people study in different countries. I found out that the people in Germany, probably also in the Netherlands, the kids have to decide. The kids, no sé,
No.
Está encendido. The kids have to decide what they will do in the future. The future, when they are 12, in the high school, when they start high school, they have to decide whether they are going to go to university, to engineering, or to the handcraft school when they are 12. Here, we have to decide what to do in our future when we are 18. Probably we still don't know what to do of life. And this is a big difference. I don't know which is best, to be honest. The way they do or the way we do. But at the end, we have to do science the same way.
Okay, I think that there have been all these answers to all. There has been only one question: what is the difference between? But I shouldn't then say what I will say, because that's on the same topic. But I wanted to recall when Gerhard was a PhD student and started to interact with us, and us means really with Alex Lara, who was a theorist by that time. And one was a German theorist, and as he said, a German physicist was a very well-educated, mathematically educated person. Mexicans, it was a tutti frutti. If you came from the National Polytechnic Institute, which there was a strong culture in mathematics, but if you came from San Luis Potosí, there was nothing. It was and I wanted to say there are two approaches or two tools to do science. One of them is discipline, rigor. As Marina was saying, doing things perfectly. Okay? And for example, mathematics, when you do algebra, you better do it perfectly. Okay? On the other hand, there is another, to me, are two tools commanded by the brain, and one of them is like the right hand side, your rigor, and then you have to, it's good, mathematics helps you in that sense. The left hand side is intuition, okay? And intuition is, I don't know how to, you don't learn it, but practicing it. And I recall something you probably recall, Jose Luis and Gerhard. There you had the collision of a very rigorous physicist and the very tropical physicist. That we wrote the equation, and it was terrible to solve. And then we say, yeah, but how about if we forget about this term? And the other guy will say, no, that would violate energy conservation, and you just cannot do that. And the Mexican say, yeah, just for a moment. This poor guy, Gerhard, was just like paralyzed. He was probably thinking, what am I doing? Where did I? So just to say that there is both, how to say, both faculties of the brain are tremendously important, and they should complement, right? And just wanted to say, that's what, in this case it was, because German was, because Gerhard was a really well-educated, also Jose Luis was, you were a much better mathematician than, particularly, not really, you took algebra with me, so you couldn't be so rigorous anyway. Sorry, that finishes this part. Would anyone else have another topic that you would like to ask this panel? Yes, please. Talk loud, and if not, I'll take the microphone.
Okay. What is the vision for you for the future of science? What are the main challenges for labor markets, not just in Mexico, but in an international way?
What are the main challenges in physics?
In physics, and talking about labor markets. Labor markets.
Oh, regarding labor markets, yeah. That's a good question, but let me tell you that we can say that question also for the following panel, because but if you have something, let's say for the future, not for what we have been talking about times that are gone, right? And I think that you guys are more interested in exactly this question. But anyway, if you guys want to say a few words about what this colleague is asking, he asks about the future not only with respect to science, but also with respect to job market. Am I correct? Or should we leave that?
I would say a little bit. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're interested to work in academia, so at the university, of course, really important things are that you, if you want to work at a university in Europe, for example, or the States, or anywhere, you have to speak the language. That is one thing. You have to speak English very well. And of course, you need a teacher, so it's important that you have a record in teaching if you apply to a university. And I'm not sure how this is done in Mexico, but for example, in the Netherlands, when you do a PhD, you do a PhD for 4 years, and the 1 year is reserved to do teaching. And if you apply at the university and you don't have any teaching experience, that is not a good thing. And I don't know how this is in Mexico, where the PhDs and postdocs are able to teach.
Yeah, they may be. When they are postdocs, sometimes, for example, postdocs here, Luis, can you say a little bit?
Well, I mean, it's not mandatory, but it's almost, no? They probably ask you to teach, for instance, if you want to belong to the National System of Researchers in Mexico, you need teaching experience. And I think it is important because I do agree with this idea that one learns when one needs to teach. When you are forced to teach, you need to learn, and then you are able to transmit knowledge. You know? But I think he was also asking about, I mean, I wanted even to ask to all of you in the table, what are your opinion or insight in the new phase or era that scientists are facing? For instance, irrespective of what are your records teaching, what are your papers, how good or not it's your CV, there are not positions in academia. So that means that new scientists need also to look at other horizons and so on. And I wanted to ask to all of you which kind of advice would you give to these young people, because they are realizing that there is a long line of people waiting for a position in academia and there are not. So which kind of insight would you provide to young people to look for in a scientific career? Which kind of jobs, for instance, in Germany, Netherlands, in the USA, would you think would be suitable for someone studying physics and making, as Olegario said, but it's very important, the professor that you choose to make, for instance, a master's, a PhD, in your, let's say, in your view, what would you say that are those fields for them to let's say, like physics, drug industry, or which kind of work would you suggest to these people if they don't want to pursue a career in theoretical physics, let's say, or something like that?
Let me first finish. So if you want to start, if you want to have a career in academia, so you want to work at a university or a research center, you want to apply to a job, seek for a personal contact. Don't just write a letter and wait what happens. So contact these people. They show an interest that you really want to work there. That is important. And also what's also important if you have done a postdoc, so nowadays it's important that you get some external money. So it will be good on a CV that you show that you have been able to apply and get external money. Do you understand what I mean? So a fellowship, for example. So apply, for example, so in Germany for a Humboldt stipendium. And try to get money for your postdoc yourself. And don't also rely on money that comes from the institute where you are going to work. So try to bring your own money or get some money during your postdoc. And I mean, it's true that there are only a few jobs in academia. So if you are doing, say, a second or a third postdoc, what I would so advise against doing a second or a third postdoc. Because if you apply somewhere and you have to say, well, this is my third postdoc, that makes a bad impression. So if you don't make it after a second postdoc, then you should seek a job somewhere else, is my advice. And of course the question is, that is the question for Luis, where do you go to? What kind of jobs would you apply for in that case? Right?
Sorry,
So if you don't make it in academia, so you don't get a permanent position at the university or research center after your second postdoc, then my advice would be to seek a job outside academia. But your question was, what kind of jobs would you then apply to? Right?
at least in Germany, let's say, because that might be an option for young people. That's something that we don't see here in Mexico, but when I was in the PLR, I noticed that most of the students were to just finish a PhD and immediately afterwards they looked for a job. They were not actually interested in a job in academia and so on. So maybe you know the situation there in Julie, or I don't know if everyone gets a job in academia after making a PhD there.
I mean, if you want to continue in academia, you have to have a postdoc.
Yeah, of course.
You don't get a job in academia with just a PhD. So if you don't want to continue in academia, don't do a postdoc. But look for a job in industry, for example. There are also interesting things to do in industry in research. And so some companies rather have a PhD than a postdoc, because as a PhD you are younger and you can be trained in stuff that is so of interest for the company. So don't do a postdoc if you don't want to continue in academia. That's my advice.
Okay. I think that we will stop this discussion at this point, and we'll pick up the same question, but for the following panel. And unless any of you want to add, this is an important topic, and it is also, it may be very important what we say, because you guys really have to think about what is next, what is expecting you. That's why the second part is aimed at that. Get it?
I have a few former students who got a position in industry. According to what they told me, what is really important are, of course, you should do good work in your PhD thesis, you should publish and so on, no doubt. But the soft skills are extremely important. You have to be fluent in English, you have to be self-conscious, you have to be show them that you are interested in the work of the company and that you can do it. It sounds more easy than it really is. So you don't have to go there and be very shy and timid. Of course, you should not overdo it also. You have to find a balance, but as I said, the soft skills are extremely important. Good language knowledge and eloquence in writing and expressing yourself, talking to the point.
I think that this kind of question has different answers depending on because the economic situation in Europe in general is different than in Mexico in the sense that they have many industries where they can accommodate people from after the PhD, after or even before. But in Mexico we don't have that much. So the industries, they don't hire many scientists. So the looking for a job for a scientist in Europe is different perspective that here in Mexico. There's no this, and I think from the Mexican side we should organize a workshop for you guys, so that we can discuss this in a view more local. If you want to explore some opportunities of job abroad, in Europe or the United States, is of course an option that you can look for it. But then this is what Gerhard and Jan said, you have to pursue a postdoc, probably a second postdoc, and then if you cannot get the position, then go back to some other option. But for the Mexicans, I think it's a different discussion because the situation is different in Europe or in the States.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that with this, let me thank the panelists of this first panel, and then we will ask the younger generation to come and focus on exactly this question. But for the time being, let us thank the panelists, and okay, the organizers are bringing something that I think here.
In the meantime, the young guys are already old guys. It took so long, which are the young guys.
Anyway, but let us give an applause to the panelists.
Actually, we can have